Good morning, Year 4. Welcome to Maths for Wednesday, the 3rd of March. So today we're going to be learning all about converting analogue time to 12-hour digital time. So let's get started. So for our warm-up today, I'd like to have a look at this, please. What number is represented here? So if we look at this picture up here in its base 10 diagrams, and think about what do these cubes represent. Can you remember what these squares represent? They've usually got lots of little lines all over them, haven't they? And then these here and these here. So just have a little think for a second. Can you remember what each of those represent? And can you write down which number is represented? So pause and have a little go at that for me, please. Okay, not to worry if you couldn't remember what each of these represent. I'm sure it will come back to you in just a second. So these cubes here, these big blocks, it's quite often, I can't remember what colour these are in school. I think they're purple. These ones definitely are purple. And these are like purple. I think got some red ones as well. And they're the big cube ones. And those are worth 1,000. Okay, so there are 1,000 of those little tiny ones here. And then the squares are usually, they've got lots of little squares on them, and there are 100 of those. Okay, so those are representing the hundreds. These are the little stick-like ones. They're representing the tens. Okay, and then the ones are obviously represented by the little ones on their own. So when we're trying to look at what number is represented here, we can see that the number represented is how many thousands? So we've got 1,000, 2,000, 3, 4, 5,000. And then we've got 1, 2, 300, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tens, and then 1, 1. Okay, so I can see that the number that is represented here is 5,371. Okay, and I need to make sure that when I'm writing those, I put those in the right columns. All right, so we've got 5 in the thousands column, the 3 in the hundreds column, the 7 in the tens column, and the 1 in the ones column. So what I'd like you to do now for the rest of the warm-up, please, is to just pause here, and I'd like you to have a go at representing, using base 10 drawings to represent the following numbers. Okay, so I've got some numbers for you, and I want you to represent them using these base 10 numbers. Don't worry too much about drawing really accurate cubes. As long as we can tell they're sort of meant to be a cube, that's fine, doesn't matter. Okay, and you don't even, if you draw really carefully, you don't need to get rulers out and everything. Just try and draw them as best you can. Okay, so for the first one, if we look at that one together, I would be drawing, I need to represent 1,000, so I'd be drawing one of these. Okay, one of our cubes. There are no hundreds, so I'm not going to be drawing any of the squares to represent the hundreds because there aren't any. 3 tens, so I'm going to draw 3 of those stick shapes there. That's 10 ones in a stick, isn't it? And then 8 ones, so I'll be drawing 8 little ones on its own. Okay, so can you pause here and do that for all of those numbers there, please? Okay, moving on to what you should have. So as I said, for the first one, we talked about that one, what that one would look like. So yours should look something like that. Doesn't matter if you haven't drawn them in the same lines as me, I've just done it to fit them all on. And then for the next one, we had to have 2,000s. So we've got 2,000s there, 100, 110 and 5 ones. And then we had 3,000s, 500s, 110 and 6 ones. And then you can look at the rest yourself. If I can move myself, sometimes I won't move. There we go. I can move myself out of the way. And you can check those others as well. Okay. Hopefully I haven't made any mistakes, but obviously I'm sure you'll spot them and tell me if I have. Right, let's move on to the main lesson today then. So we're trying to write our analogue times in 12-hour digital time. Now, this page looks like it's got lots of work on it, but it hasn't. It's just because our steps to success are quite detailed here. Okay, so it's like literally some instructions for how to do what we need to do. So the questions we need to be asking ourselves are, what was the last o'clock hour? So an analog clock is these round clocks, okay, and we're trying to write them in a 12-hour digital time, okay? like we find on our cookers and on our microwaves and on our alarm clocks, that sort of thing. We want to write that sort of time. So we need to be thinking about what was the last o'clock hour. And in the case of this first one, the last o'clock hour would have been 8 o'clock, because I can see that hour hand has just gone past the 8, hasn't it? So the last o'clock time would have been 8 o'clock. Okay, then I need to think about how many minutes past the hour it is, and we'll get to that in a second. And then what does AM and PM mean? I need to have that in my mind as well. So let's do this first one then together. So steps to success, write the last o'clock hour. So as we've already established, that was 8 o'clock. So I'm going to write 8 to start with, okay? And then I'm going to do my colon next, which is the 2 dots there that I've done, you can see. So number 2, add a colon, okay? Number 3, write how many minutes past the hour the minute hand has travelled. Well, we can do this. We've already done this, haven't we, with our times. So if we imagine that minute hand, there's the minute hand there, the long one. So I'm going to go back up to the 12. So when it was on the 12, it was 8 o'clock, wasn't it? And I'm going to count around how many minutes passed. And I'm going to count in 5s, if you remember, because that's how we count in the clock, because each of those big numbers is worth 5 minutes. Okay, so we'll start on 12 and we'll count round together. 5, 10, 15, 20, and I can't go any further than 20 because it hasn't got to the 5 yet. So I'm going to stop on 20, and now I'm going to start counting in ones. Okay, so I'm going to just make it into an arrow so you can see a bit better. So we're on 20, and we go 21, 22, 23, 20. Oh, is it 23? I think it's about 23, or is it 24? I don't know. I reckon that's 23. Doesn't matter really too much. So I think it's 23. So I'm going to put down here, I've got my, I'm going to put 23 there, okay? So I'm just looking at it from different angles, thinking, is that 23 or is that 24? It doesn't matter. And actually, when we mark your work, we'll always know if you're a minute out, we'll let that slide. Okay, so I had to write the last o'clock hour. I had to do my colon, and then I wrote how many minutes passed. Now, here, number 4, this bit's quite important. Not that much for what we're doing today, but it is important when we move on to some other stuff, so we need to get used to doing it. It says, write the digital time using a 4-digit format. For example, 09:30 AM, not 9:30, okay? So I have to put in front of my 8, I have to put 08, okay, so that it doesn't get confused. And the reason I have to do that is because when I go on to 24-hour clock, that makes a really big difference putting those. So I need a 4-digit time, which is, so it needs 4 numbers in it. Okay, so now I've got my 4 numbers. There wasn't a number there, so I've just put a 0 in as a placeholder, okay, so that 8 doesn't slide into the wrong column. And then the last thing I have to do, which is all about this question over here, about what does AM, PM mean, I have to decide if I'm going to put on the end AM or PM. And I need to think about if that is in the morning or in the afternoon. So if it's in the morning, so if it's in from midnight, all those early hours that you're sleeping, round to midday, all through the morning and round to midday, lunchtime, then it is AM. And if it is in the afternoon, so anything after midday, all the way through the afternoon and evening and round to 12 o'clock at midnight, it would be PM. So I'm going to imagine that this time is 8:23 in the morning when we're all kind of coming into school in normal times. So I'm going to put AM because I want to say that it's in the morning. So today I can just kind of choose really, because it doesn't tell me, does it, whether it needs to be AM or PM. But I'm just going to put that to show that I want it to be an AM time today. So for the second one, we're going to follow our same steps to success again. So the first thing I need to do is I need to look at the hour hand to tell me what was the last o'clock hour. Okay, and I can see that the hour hand has just gone past the 2. So I'm going to put a 2, and I'm not going to just put a 2, I'm going to put 02, because we said, didn't we, that we need to have a 0 in front of it as a placeholder. Then I'm going to add my colon, which is step 2. Then I'm going to write how many minutes passed. So again, I'm going to start up here on the 12 and count round. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and then 26, 27, 28 minutes past, I think that is. And I'm going to say that's 2:28 in the afternoon, okay? Because 2:28 AM would be the middle of the night. And I don't reckon I'd be reading the time at 2:28 AM. Hopefully I'm asleep, and if I'm not, then that's not going to be a good night's sleep, is it? So 2:28. So can you just pause here and have a little try at trying to do these last two on your own, following our steps to success? We'll come back together in a second. Okay, so let's have a look together then. First thing I need to do, write the last o'clock hour. So I can see my hour hand is my first interest here, the bit that I'm interested in. And that hand has gone past the 11. It's not 12, it hasn't got to 12 yet, it's 11 because it's last gone past 11. So when that minute hand was back up there on the 12, it would have been 11 o'clock. So my first number is going to be 11. Now here, I've already got 2 digits, haven't I? So I don't need to put a 0 in front of it because I've already got 2 digits there. So that's all right, so I just leave it as 11, and then I've got my colon, which was step 2 of my steps to success. And then I'm going to count round my minutes again. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 36, I reckon. And then don't want that to be in the morning or the afternoon, doesn't really matter. I'll put AM because again, it's more likely that I'm awake. Sometimes I'm awake at 11:36 at night reading my book, but I shouldn't really be. I should be asleep. So, okay, let's have a look at the last one then. We have got the back up to the top of our steps to success. Write the last o'clock hour. So it hasn't quite got to the 5 yet, so it must have been 4. Again, I'm going to do 04 because 4 is not a 2-digit number. Step 2, add a colon. Okay, then. And then write how many minutes passed. So this is a funny thing with digital time. Even though this minute hand is on the 2 side of the clock, the digital time, we're always counting how many minutes passed. So start on the 12. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48, I think. And don't worry if you didn't get exactly the same as me, because like I say, yours is a bit smaller as well, maybe a minute or 2 out, that's all right. And I'm going to say that's 4:48 p.m. as well. Same reason as the one above, because I don't reckon I'll be up. If I'm up at 4:48, then I'm really annoyed that one of my children's woken me up too early, or a bird outside or something. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. We've got the time is something past 10. Now we know it's past 10 because the hour hand has just gone past the 10. It needs to be a little bit further on, really. So the time is how many minutes past 10? Well, starting at the 12, we count round 5, 10, 15 minutes past 10. But we don't say 15 minutes past 10 very often, do we? Because I can see that this is a quarter turn around the clock. That minute hand started on the 12 and it's moved a quarter turn around the clock. So we often say, if you remember from our earlier lessons, we often say the time is 10:15. Okay, I can see that, just squeeze that in there. And as I've already said, that's 15 minutes. So it can also be written as 15 minutes past 10. And if we wanted to write that as a digital time, we would know that the hour that it's gone past is 10. Again, I don't need a 0 in front because there's 2 digits here already. I've already put the colon in, and then 15 goes after it. Oh, just disappeared for a bit then. There we go. So it's going to go like that. Okay, let's move on. Can you pause here, because this is the weedy bit, and I'd like to write each of these times in digital format, please. So have a little go. They are quite little, and I don't know if I can make them a little bit bigger. Sometimes it makes them a bit blurry. There we go. That's a little bit better, I think. So have a little go at those. Hopefully you can see them. Okay, so pause here, have a try at those, and we'll come back together in a minute. Okay, so, oh, I didn't write the answers down. We'll do that quickly now together. So we'll just move that up a little bit. So for A, the time, hour hand first, it's gone past the 1. So I'm going to put 01. Oops, excuse me, it's gone a little bit awry there. So I'm going to have 01, colon, and then how many minutes passed? I can see it's 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes past. Okay, so it's 01, 25, and then it doesn't matter if you write AM or PM. I don't mind. Again, you might have said PM, I suppose, because you're more likely to be awake looking at the clock. Doesn't matter though, it can be AM or PM. And then for B, that hour hand has just gone past the 3. So it's going to be 03 colon. And then I can see that that's 3:30 actually. And I know that 3:30 is 30 minutes. So I don't, if I know that half an hour is 30, if that's when it gets to the 6, it's 30 minutes, I can just write 30. If I don't, I can start on the 12 and I count round 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, like that. And it's going to be in the afternoon again. Again, don't mind if you're not AM or PM, because we don't know, do we, at the moment? That's why we write AM or PM, otherwise we really don't know. Okay, so C, then, the hour hand has, it's not gone past the 11 if you look, it's gone past the 10 by quite a lot, but it hasn't got to the 11 yet. So it's going to be 10, and then I'm going to count round to see how many minutes passed. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So I can write 10. Again, don't need a 0 before because there's 2 digits there already. So it's just gone past the 10 and it's 40 minutes past the 10. We'll have an AM that time just for fun. Again, if you've written PM, that's correct. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm more interested in about these digits at the moment. And then D, that hour hand has gone past the 1. It's really close to the 2, but it hasn't got to the 2 yet. So it's going to be 0, 1. And then we're going to count round from the 12 all the way round to that where the minute hand is. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55. So this last one will be 0, 1 again, because it went past the 1, my colon, and 50, and we will put PM on as well. Okay, so hopefully you got those times. Don't worry if you've got different AM or PM, that's okay. Moving on, have a little try at this one. Record the time of day in digital format. Now these clocks are weeny teeny, but I can't really make them very much bigger. So I'm hoping, there we go, kind of made it into a giant. I'll just move the steps to success over here, I reckon. There we go. So we've got netball, we've got football, we've got rock climbing, and we've got a roller disco. Okay, so all of those things, and they're a bit blurry, but you know what numbers they are on the clock anyway, don't you? So can you record those, and it tells you if it's AM or PM, nice and clearly for me, and then we'll come back together in a second. Off you go. Okay, no, I really wasn't being very good, was I, when I wrote down my numbers? Is this the, hang on a minute. Yeah, we're gonna have to type them in, hang on. I'm just gonna get rid of this, move it back over here. So for netball, the hour hand has gone past the 4, so it's going to be 0, 4, colon, and I know that that minute hand is on the 6, and that's halfway around the clock. There are 60 minutes in a whole hour, so I know that in half an hour there are 30 minutes and then a PM. So you may have had to start at the 12 and count round. Obviously these clocks are really blurry, so you can just count round on a clock that you've got with you if you want. That's probably a bit easier, isn't it? Don't worry too much if you couldn't see them. This one, the minute hand's gone past the 10, so it's a 10, colon, and then it's 10:15, isn't it? But that's how many minutes? 5, 10, 15 minutes past, and that's an AM one, so you should have 10, 15 AM. The next one, don't get caught out on this one, it is a little bit tricky to see. That hour hand has gone past the 6, it hasn't got to the 7 yet, so it's 0, 6, colon, then we're going to count round to that minute hand, so 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, and then it's PM. And the last one down here, it's gone past the 11, just about. I know it's in the middle of the screen. Hang on, let's just put it over here. 11, semicolon, and then we can count round 5, 10, 15, 20. And we're going to put AM on the end. Okay, so we should have 11:20 for that one. All right, so let's move on again. Put myself back up. No, I want to move. There we go. So This is one for you to have a go at by yourself. Alfie looks at his digital watch and sees the time. Here's the time here. What could he be doing at this time? So you need to have a look at it and think about what he could be doing. Off you go. Pause here. Okay, so if you were awake this morning and switched on this afternoon, you might be doing it in the afternoon, you should have been looking here. So it's 1 o'clock, but it's PM, okay? So 1 o'clock AM would be just after midnight, an hour after midnight. So if it was 1 o'clock in the morning, you'd probably still be asleep. This is 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so this is just after lunch. So you could have been doing all sorts of things. You might have been still eating lunch. You might have been out to play for playtime. You might be reading a book. You could be doing anything then, couldn't you? We could be doing the register. Sometimes we have assembly, don't we, straight after lunch, that sort of thing. Okay, so anything really. You could be out for a walk if you're at home. Lots and lots of different things there. Okay, move on. So this is our hinge question then. What time does the clock say? So can you pause and write which one you think is the correct one, please? Okay, so when I was having a go at this, the first thing I would do is rule some of them out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my hour hand, and I'm going to see my hour hand has gone past the 1, but it hasn't got to the 2 yet. So it's going to be one of the times that's got a 1 at the start. Okay, so it's not going to be, in fact, I've just spotted something. Oops, spotted something that I haven't done. I haven't done my own thing now, because we definitely said it has to be done. I don't know if I can write on it now because I've cut and changed it, but you may have spotted I haven't put a 0 in the front, have I? So I could make it a bit smaller and faff around, but it's going to take a long time. So really, I should have a 0 at the start. Naughty Mrs. Eggleshaw. I know they're not showing at the moment. I'll put them on in a second. But the first thing I'm going to do is to rule out some of them. There we go. Can't have it being incorrect. Oops. There we go. Got to have a 0, otherwise it's not a 4-digit format, is it? So the first one, sorry, I'm distracted by my lack of attention I was paying when I made this page. So the first thing I can do, I know that the hour hand has gone past 1 o'clock. So the first thing I can do is I can cross out that one, because that one has got an 8, and I know it's not gone past the 8, and that one's got 2, so I know it's not that one. So I think it's going to be one of these. Okay, 0108 or 0140. So I now need to just count round how many minutes to see from the 12. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. So I think it's going to be that one. I think it's going to be A. Oh, no, I don't. Mrs. Eggleshaw, wake up. I think it's going to be C, because it's 1:40, isn't it? 40 minutes past, because that hour hand has just gone past the 1, and then there's 40 minutes past. The minute hand is showing that it's gone 40 minutes past. So that is the time there. Okay, so the answer is C. Well done if when you were pausing it, you were saying, well, Mrs. Eggleshaw hasn't put a 0 in the front. So that's a good spot, because Mrs. Eggleshaw didn't notice that when she was writing it. Right. Okay, so silver task for today, work out the times and write them down digitally. And you can write AM or PM, I don't mind. And if you want to, you can write me something that you might be doing at that time. But as long as you must put an AM or a PM, I don't mind which one it is in this case though. Okay, so pause here and have a try at that. Then gold activity for today is here. I will leave you to read it because I've been talking for a really long time already. Okay, so she's converting time and she showed her answers, and you have to explain what she's done wrong and what the right time should be. So pause here and have a try at that. Okay, and we will have a look at the answer here. So she's recorded the minutes past the hour first instead of the hour. So the time should be 02:22. So you can see she's got them the wrong way around. She's put the hour here and then the minutes there. So she did the minutes first and then the hour. And we can see from our steps to success that you write the hour time first. So what time it was the last o'clock time, which in this case it's gone past the 2. So that 02 should have been at the start and the 22 at the end. Okay, so that's what she's done wrong. Okay, platinum. Jack arrives at the train station. Which trains could he catch? Okay, so there's the time at the top on the analog clock, and you can have a look at what time, which trains he could catch. There may be more than one. And how long will Jack have to wait for each train? Okay, so pause here and have a go at that. Okay, Jack could catch the train to Bramley because he arrives and it is 9:25. He arrives at 9:25. So, because it's just gone past 9:35, beg your pardon. So the hour hand has gone past 9, so it's 09, and then if we count round, that's 35 minutes. So it's 9:35. So he can catch the train to Bramley or to Leeds. He can't catch the 7:10 one because it's 9:35. He's missed it. He can't catch the New Pudsey one because that was 9:25 and he's missed that. And then he could catch the Bramley one, that's 9:42, and it's only 9:35, so he's got a few minutes, hasn't he? He could catch that one, or he could wait a little bit longer and catch the one that is 3 minutes past 10. Okay, how long will he have to wait for each train? He'd have to wait 7 minutes for his train to Bramley, and he'd have to wait, because it's 35, and we have to count on to 42. Okay, so if it's on 35, I want to get round to 42. So if you do that, then it's 7 minutes, or you can do 42 take away 35 if that's easier. And then his Leeds train he's going to have to wait 28 minutes for that one. Okay, so he's going to have to wait 25 minutes until 10 o'clock. So look, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes, it'll be 10 o'clock. And then 3 minutes after that, it'll be 3 minutes past 10, and 25 and 3 makes 28. So well done if you work that out, because we haven't done a lot of timetable work, so that's really good. Okay, that's enough for today, I think. That's been quite a long lesson. So come back tomorrow for your Thursday lesson. I'll look forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye.